Israel, U.S. intelligence officials, this is from New York Post, cited by CNN, report Israel is preparing a possible strike on Iran's nuclear facility, with a source stating the chance of an Israel strike on an Iranian nuclear facility has gone up significantly in recent months, and a prospect of a Trump-negotiated U.S.-Iran deal that doesn't remove all of Iran's uranium makes the chances of a strike more likely. Intercepted messages and Israel military movements, including air munitions and exercises, indicate an imminent attack despite President Trump's diplomatic efforts. Israel feels caught between a rock and a hard place due to the stated stalled U.S.-Iran talks, with former intelligence officer Jonathan Panikov noting, at the end of the day, the Israeli decision-making is going to be predicated on U.S. policy determinations and actions and what agreement President Trump does or does not come to with Iran. Adam.
Vinny, you go first. Go ahead. I'm sending Rob something.
Okay, well, listen, Trump is trying to work out a deal to keep things from spiraling, all right? He's working on diplomacy. That's the angle, the anti-war angle, and trying to avoid another pointless war, okay? And Israel is moving like they don't give a damn, and I get it. Iran is bad. Let's put that to the side. But like diplomacy is just a stall tactic, and what they really want is strikes, okay? Bibi's, it's not like he's hiding it. He wants us and them to go to war with Iran. You guys remember last week when I reported about Mike Waltz using the Israeli signal chat? What was he doing? He wasn't messing around. He was in contact with Israeli officials that they were discussing national policy, Iran being on the forefront, and he was trying to quietly help persuade to pull us in a conflict that we're watching unfold in front of our eyes, okay? But even with them gone, Israel's acting, they're still going to move without us. The reports are coming out that Bibi and Trump, they're not really cool. They're not really on talking terms. But listen, this Iran strikes, it's going to lead to a freaking war. Israel's our allies. We're going to get dragged into this shit. I don't want any American troops or any other war. Trump is trying to avoid it at all costs. But Bibi, if Bibi wants it, Bibi's going to get it. If he wants to do it, good luck. Go do your thing, okay? Don't be dragging us into that shit, because we know that's what's going to come out. And I don't care about any other country except America. And I want zero American troops to be in harm's way because of a guy that's been begging for a war. Yes, they're bad, and there's other ways to take care of Iran, but bombing and starting another war, I'm not a fan of it at all, period.
Adam.
Well, listen, Trump and Bibi Netanyahu, I think they're on the same page. They have aligned interests, but they don't have the exact same interests. So you're going to disagree with an ally of yours. You're not going to agree on everything, because there's two totally different things going on here. Trump, at his fiber of his being, he's a deal maker. He wants to make a deal. He wants to show, yeah, that deal that Obama did was a bad deal. I want to put together a good deal. Trump wants to win. Bibi Netanyahu, he's worried about his existence. You've heard the term existential threat? Iran is an existential threat to not only Israel, to the rest of the world, to the rest of the region. Why do you think there's Saudi Arabia? Why do you think even Qatar? Why do you think UAE is so keen to do a deal here? Because they know that the threat to the Western civilization or to the modernization of the world is the Islamic regime in Iran. So Trump's concern is not as extreme as Bibi Netanyahu's. So would Trump like to see a deal? Hell yeah. Would Netanyahu like to see some function of a deal? Hell yeah. But if a deal isn't done, in my opinion, there's one thing that the Israeli government, whether it's left, right, center, is not going to allow happen, and that is the Islamic Republic of Iran to get a nuclear weapon. We all know that they have allegedly taken out some of the scientists, the nuclear scientists. They go missing. They take these people out. They all know that they have taken down some of their defense missile capabilities. So the next logical step is, if someone's an existential threat, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. Death to America, death to Israel. There's a clock. I don't know if you can find this. There's a clock in Iran, and it's the Israel death clock. So you're not, this is what I was talking about earlier, you're not dealing with logical actors. They believe in jihad. They believe in Sharia law. They believe in the afterlife. And if that's what you believe, you're willing to take out everybody around you to accomplish that goal. Here's Iran's doomsday clock for Israel's end. Well, ironically, it ran out of power right there. But they're an existential threat. And yeah, they might be coming for Israel, but they're also coming for the Western world. And how many? Do you see these stories, by the way, shifting gears, about people just out there saying they're Islamifying churches now? Because in my opinion, you'd correct me if I'm wrong. First, they come for the Saturday people, the Jews, and then they're coming for the Sunday people, buddy. That's you guys. So you might be thinking, well, look, just let them deal with the Jews. That's no big deal. You think they're stopping there, my Christian friends, my Catholic friends? They're coming for you next.
And the useful idiots die last.
Yeah. And then they're going to recruit
Rob, go ahead and play the clip.
dumb Americans. Go ahead. Who's this guy?
We are buying these churches. We bought 3 churches so far, converted them to masjids, and now we have one we are buying with a school to make it, because we have to serve the same people. The people who were part of that community, one day they will be Muslims. So we'll make it into a masjid and an Islamic school for our children and their children, inshallah. 100 years ago, they invaded the Muslim world and they built missionary schools and destroyed Islamic schools and masjids. Today, we bring the favor back, turn their churches into masjids and their schools into Islamic schools. Bring the light of Islam to here. We're able to buy ready to go institutions that have been there for a long time, but they emptied out. And now it is time to be filled with Muslims, with reverts, converts. This is an election year, but we're not going to be happy with either candidate. We have to be happy when Islam becomes the best candidate for us. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give Islam the victory in this country.
Tom, your thoughts on what's going on with Israel, Iran, Israel attacking Iran? Are you uncomfortable with it? Where are you at with that?
No, look, the fact that it's in a headline doesn't mean that it's not happening if there's no headline. The U.S. and Israel strategically work to neutralize assets all the time. And it just happened that Soleimani and a motorcade around the back of a airport was a high visibility target, and that missile made a loud sound. But there are underlings and people that are getting neutralized all the time. You see and so I do not believe for a minute that the U.S. and the UK, by the way, even though the UK is teetering because of its government, they are still supporting the neutralization of the nuclear capability. And, if the rumor is that Israel's going to do it, Israel may do it, but the dog don't go off the leash unless we unclip it. And the U.S. is right there with it. So Israel's not going to be acting alone on there, because to take out centrifuges and capabilities, that's in everybody's interest, and we're right there with them. And so do I think that where there's smoke, there's fire, that there's something cooking here? If our intelligence tells us that they are really close on the systems and everything, where they can do that with the uranium, now you've got core. It's not terribly hard to build the bomb around it, and then you deploy the bomb, which is why Japan's been getting so nervous for the past 15 years when North Korea keeps building slightly better and slightly better and slightly better, missiles that they casually launch into the water. And they have these. And
South Korea is even more concerned than Japan.
And South Korea is like, that thing just flew by us, and everybody's concerned about it. So, and that's why, what did Trump do? Trump went over there and talked to the kid, right? In North Korea.
Kim Jong-un?
Yeah.
The kid?
Yeah. Because his dad was
The
even
grandson,
more bonkers. So what do I think? I think that you have to neutralize what's going on there in terms of nuclear capability.
But what if Israel doesn't listen? What if Israel says, we're going to do it anyways?
Without Trump's approval, and after a week after they were trying to go behind his back to push him to go and fight
What
with
if
Iran.
they don't listen?
Well,
Why would they have to listen? Meaning,
What do you mean? I want to hear this, and then I'll tell you.
Hang on a second. I actually agree.
Yeah.
But go ahead. What if Israel's like, dude, we're going to attack.
There's half of our government will be very happy about that.
More than
the
half.
hawks. And the other half of our government will be, gritting its teeth and hoping that it's a surgical destruction of it and everybody else stands down.
Adam, thoughts?
Listen,
What is this, by the way, you put up here?
This is a senior Hamas official basically saying that this is why they advocate for the war, because they play down the significance of the casualties in Gaza. He says, there's been our women's wombs will produce many more babies. 50,000 people were born in Gaza during the war, just like the number of casualties. Thanks to the war, Westerners convert to Islam. U.S. students support Palestine liberation from the river to the sea. Useful idiots. So back to the initial question about the Iran, why would they listen? I don't think we fully understand in America. There's a big difference between the Midwest and the Middle East. In the Middle East, unfortunately, the reality of life there, in many cases, it's kill or be killed. It's eat or be eaten. It's a totally different world of what's going on in the Middle East. It's so funny. I never saw any protests on any college campuses when hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people were dead in Syria, in Yemen, in Sudan to this day. Nothing. Zero protests. Zero. But when Israel gets attacked and they try to basically eliminate Hamas, it's a genocide. We all know what's happening. It's been fooled. And the smartest people at the nicest college campuses on the world have been fooled. So as far as your exact question about why would Israel listen, I think they will listen up to the point where they're like, we can't listen anymore because they're a week away from a bomb and it's us or them. By the way, here's a little fun question. Do you think Israel has a nuke right now, today?
Of course.
Do you think they have one?
Of course I do.
Okay.
Of course I do.
So
Absolutely.
so if of course they have it, if they're so interested in doing genocide, why don't they do it?
Because if
Why don't
Israel
they do
launches
it?
a nuclear weapon, Adam, it
At
would
who?
be at anybody.
What do you mean?
Who's just gonna? Everybody has nukes. Who's
No,
gonna launch a nuke?
not everybody has nukes.
The majority, the major, like us or China.
What? No,
if
no,
Israel,
no.
what
But
are you
if
trying to say?
you're
that I'm
saying if
confused?
Israel nuked Iran
Yeah.
or nuked Gaza,
Okay.
Iran doesn't have a weapon.
Okay.
The Gazans have missiles. They could do this, but they have no interest in this.
Well, they know that
The whole conversation
it would
about
not be good if Israel.
But nobody wants that. But when you say everyone has nukes, no, nobody in the Middle East has nukes. Only Pakistan. And they're more concerned about India. Believe that. So when you say, well, everybody has it, no, they don't.
The majority
But
of
if
the major
Israel was
nations have-
interested in using it, if they had nukes, they would do it. What's the whole conversation about, if Israel puts their guns down, if the militants put their guns down, there'll be peace. If Israel puts their weapons down, there'll be a slaughter. You know the conversation that Joe Rogan had with Tim Kennedy?
Yeah.
Do you know that? Have you ever seen this clip? Can we play this? I fully believe in this.
You think I'm Israel, you're the Palestinians in Gaza. If every one of the people in Gaza laid down the arms and stopped attacking, what would I, Israel, do to you? Nothing. They've tried it 5 different times. They've literally stop attacking. Israel has never, not one time in history, initiated any conflict. Every single one of those things that you're pointing to is a retaliatory attack by a terrorist organization. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. If the
Adam, where are you going? Where are you going right now? You're saying what? You're saying if Israel has nuclear warheads, I think both Israel and Iran have them.
I don't think Iran has them yet.
I think they have
You
them.
want to know why I don't think they have them?
Tell me.
Because they would use them. Straight
Well,
up.
then it'd be the end of everybody.
No, I don't think so.
Iran.
Does North Korea have nuclear weapons?
They do.
Okay, so how come they haven't used it?
Because what country is constantly shouting death to fill in the
Two
blank?
countries have said
to-
death to America. It's U.S. and it's North Korea and it's Iran. But how
Okay.
come he hasn't used it yet?
Because North Korea.
But this is kind of where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
You said something. I want to tighten
Yeah.
it up, and we got to wrap it up because we got to move on.
I-
If you were going to get to a point, I'm going to just say my point on this thing here on what question I asked.
Yeah.
I said,
why would they listen?
why would they listen?
Okay, because at some point you either have individual autonomy as a country
Yep.
or you don't. This whole conversation of Israel controls America. Really? That seems completely far-fetched to me. I thought that Andrew Schultz made a great point that if some country controls another country, it'd be the country with the greatest GDP and the greatest military and the greatest economy in the world, not a tiny little country in the Middle East that's controlling the other country. It would seem that Israel is the bagman for the United States, not the other way around. So if Israel, any country that has to listen to another country in order to survive, isn't a country at all. So I think that they will listen, like I will listen to you as my boss, as my CEO, as my mentor, but I'll live my life.
Runs America?
I think Israel has a huge influence on America.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh.
Question is, do you think Israel controls Trump?
No.
Okay. So
I don't think Israel controls Trump.
do you think Israel controls America today?
I don't think it controls America. No, I think it has a major influence,
Sure,
especially
but
with
so
AIPAC
does
and all
China.
that stuff.
So do a lot of different people.
I don't think anybody
Who has
controls.
more influence over America, China or Israel? Think about the amount of money they're putting in schools, universities. Who has more influence? The amount of land China's buying, the amount of people they're buying, the amount of who has more influence in U.S., China or Israel? What do you think?
If you're going to talk about
But
trade,
hang on,
and
I want to see what he's going to say. I want to see what Vinny's going to say.
But China has to register as a foreign agent, don't they? They have to. Israel doesn't.
Sure, yeah, but
Okay.
but to me, and the reason they did that is because they wanted people to go back to. It's like imagine right now, we get close to Trump, and President Trump allows Assyria to be a nation, and the first thing they're going to do is they're going to reach out to all the famous Assyrians around the world, and then they say, Patrick, Vinny, why don't you guys come to Assyria, buy land, buy some home, do something here. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? If the president allows you to have a passport to go and be a, what do they call it when you're dual
citizenship.
citizen here in Assyria, would you take it?
To have dual citizenship to go
For here in
and-
Assyria. Assyria got a land back. Would you take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
But Shmimumaru,
Yeah.
they're
course.
Jewish, they're proud, they're going to
Yeah,
take
yeah.
it. But this is the part where I'm going. Let me tell you where I'm at, which my position's a little bit weird. He goes to the Middle East, doesn't go meet with who?
Bibi Netanyahu.
Yeah. And he meets with everybody else. It's a 1 hour flight,
Mm-hmm.
2 hour flight, doesn't meet with them. Okay, no problem. And, well, it's not a big deal. It wasn't their meeting and da-da-da-da-da. No problem. If Trump publicly says don't attack and Israel attacks, there's a part of me that is okay with that. Not likes that, is okay with that because we didn't say attack. So now if you go, you're on an island on your own. Don't call me now. So that's not a fight I wanted to be a part of. It's a fight that you chose to be a part of. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, how many times in school would they come up to you and they said, there's a fight after school, come with us?
Of course.
And I'm like, bro, you hooked up with his sister. I'm not.
Yeah.
What are you
Oh,
doing?
yeah.
Like, what are you,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You started this bullshit. I'm not participating in this. It's like, no, here's what happened. Okay, let's go. What's going to be happening, right? And it's a different approach to defend your friends versus not defending your friends. In a case like this, the guy is saying, don't start the fight. Then he says it publicly to everybody. Don't start the fight. And then if you want to start the fight, guess what? Start the fight. I'm just not there. If you win or lose, it's your fight. Don't get me involved. But I want to publicly make sure Iran knows we don't want a war, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want a war. So if Bibi wants to own this thing here and be his thing, go ahead, Bibi. But the world knows this is not the U.S. supporting your attack. This is your attack. Your attack alone that you're making a decision of. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Can I flip it on you?
Sure.
How much longer are you or the proud Persian Iranian people willing to just see the Islamic Ayatollahs run your country? Do you want to go your entire life never being able to go back to Iran? Serious question. Because when they're running that country and they have that mind frame, you're never going to go back. Your
Those are
kids
two
are never going to go back.
different- those are
But
two
my
different
point is this.
conversations.
It needs to come to an end at some point.
Those are two different conversations.
But I think it's two different parts of the same conversation.
So
of whatever is going on with this regime,
Yeah.
at some point needs to stop.
Is there a different way of doing it instead of bombing them, and which is going to turn into a full-on war? That say what you want, we don't want it. We're going to have to get involved. We're going to have to, especially if it escalates to Israel just against Iran.
Not under Trump.
No,
You
I don't.
you don't
Not
think
under
so?
Trump.
I don't.
Not under Trump.
I'm
I
not.
would be
I'm not
very-
Not under
supporting
Trump.
any
You know what Trump
U.S.
would do?
troops being on the ground
No.
at all.
Not under Trump. Under any other president, under Nikki Haley, 100%. Under anybody else, not under Trump. But the other part to say
Yeah.
what he's saying, okay? Sometimes there's a guy that everybody wants to take out. But you don't want to fight them for many different reasons. But if somebody wants to go fight them and take them out, and you think you can do it, go at it. Just don't involve us. If Israel thinks independently they can go do it, go ahead. Do your thing. Don't call for help. Because Israel always says, we don't ever ask him for help. No. Of course, we've given some money to them. Not as much as we've given to Ukraine. Not as much as we've given to other places. But we've given money, and every time they give the number that it's accrued and compound. If it wasn't today's money, it's this. I get it. We've given way more money to Afghanistan. We've given way more money to the war on, what was it, the $3 trillion we spent, the $8 trillion we spent on
Iraq, Afghanistan,
Afghanistan,
war on
all of
drugs.
that.
We're funding wars
so all
everywhere.
that bullshit, weapons of mass destruction BS, this is not the weapons of mass destruction. No. This is a very different thing. So anyways, we'll see what happened there. There's something about family, right? There's something about family, beautiful families, people you love. This story is sent to me yesterday.
Okay.
It says, I'm 85 years old, and somehow I woke up in my 36-year-old body, okay? Just for one day. This time, I knew what to treasure. Let's go to the next one. So she's 85 years old, wakes up in 36-year-old body. I hear a tiny voice before I open my eyes. Mama, wake up. I blink. He's standing there. Bedhead, pajama, pants too short. My little boy. He's small again. Go to the next one. He climbs into my bed, laughing. He wraps his arm around my neck. I used to check the clock, rush the morning, but not today. Today I hold him. Tight, long, and deep. Go next. I walk to the mirror. No gray, no wrinkles, no aches in my knees. Just me, 36, tired, but strong. Go ahead, Rob. My husband is in the kitchen making coffee. He smiles when he sees me. Younger, softer, so familiar. I wrap my arms around him. This time, I don't let go quickly. We used to rush past each other. Today, I hold him close and whisper, thank you. The kitchen floor is sticky. Lego underfoot, socks on the counter. I used to sigh, feel behind, get frustrated, but now I stand still and just soak it all in. My little son chatters all through breakfast, stories about superheroes and questions about monsters. This time I listen, really listen, no phone, no distractions, just him, all his beautiful, curious voice. In the car, he sings loudly, kicks the seat, spills a snack. I used to snap. Now I smile and enjoy the moment because one day the seat will be empty and I'll miss the noise. In the evening, I pick up the phone and I hear my mom's voice. Tears fill my eyes before I said a word. I forget how much comfort lives in her voice. We talked about nothing, the weather, what she is cooking, but it means everything. I tell her I love her again and again. I don't want to hang up. At bedtime, I didn't rush. He picks his favorite superhero book, the one I've read 100 times. Tonight, I read every single word slowly. And then I ask, one more? He nods. I don't want this night to end. He whispered, you're the best mom. I hold his small hand, kiss his soft cheek, whisper how proud I am. His lashes flutter, his chest rises and falls, and I just watch, soaking it in. Tomorrow, I will be 85 again, and he will be grown. Busy, bigger, out in the world. But tonight, I got this precious moment, and now I know this was joy, this was love, this was everything. If you're living in the moment now, don't rush through it. The little hand in yours, the bedtime stories, the mess, the noise, it all matters more than you know. When you read a story like this, man.
Jesus, Pat. I mean, you want to start us off by crying? I got to call my mom
Freaking
now.
Rob's a mess.
Mom, I love you.
Tom's a mess. Everybody's
Let me tell you.
The fact that Tom isn't actually crying right now. He is.
No,
I see it.
I read
I
this
appreciate
last,
you, Tom.
I'm reading
It's a
this
deep
video
glow.
last
That's
night.
ridiculous.
And you know
really
what's
deep-
crazy? You guys sent me this video last night with, this lady that hit the ICE agent, and she's singing this song, right? I know it's going to make no sense, but if you play this here, I'm going to tell you how all this matches up together. Go ahead and play this.
You are now facing a federal charge, though. Are you afraid of what's going to
Watch what
transpire now?
happens here.
You fight on,
You can lower this up because the mood changed really quickly.
You fight
Okay.
on, you fight on. When your
pause right
government
here.
is doing.
So, I'm in
How
the
does
car.
she not respond?
Let me tell you what happened. Tico yesterday, school's coming to an end, so they're doing swimming and all this stuff. So he's been out in the sun for 8 hours. His body is red, so he can't put a shirt on. And we have this aloe that you put, but it's old. So I take him to Publix, and that's the moment you send it. So I'm playing this. He said, "What is she doing?" I said, "Watch, I'm going to sing it in Publix in front of everybody for you." We're in the Publix. Tico gets embarrassed. I am screaming this song off the top of my lungs, and he is hugging. You know how he pushes like to not do anything. We had the most incredible 30-minute drive, going there, fooling around, bought some carrot juice, finally found the aloe. I asked this lady, I need some aloe gel. The lady takes me and gives me coconuts and aloe. I didn't say I want coconut. I want aloe, the gel, right? We come back, we're laughing. Then we're in the house. We're sitting there, he's showing me all this stuff from Stranger Time, whatever that show. Stranger Things. The show. It's like,
yeah.
And he's like, but this and this. And I'm like, dude, I really don't want to hear this stuff. And I'm just listening to him say the stories. And we're in bed, it's 10:15, 10:30. He's still talking about, Tico, you got to go to sleep. Then I go to my bed. Then Jennifer gives me this. I read this. The moment I read it, I get up. I'm like, dude, I got to go. She's like, where are you going? I go back to Tico. I said, finish your story about Stranger Things. What was it? And he sits up, dude. He was so excited to tell me all about it. And he says, will you watch it with me when we go for vacation and all this other stuff? Is that not awesome, bro? Like when you get some messages like this that inspire the hell out of you and just kind of, we're 46, 47, Vinny. The famous line.
Yeah, we're going to be in 20 minutes.
We're going to wake up tomorrow.
This thing called family is so awesome.
Yep.
But it's going to go by so quick, man. It's going to go by so quick. And it's so weird because I had no intentions of showing this to you guys. But, you know, for me, we're sitting there, we're thinking about, we have the Vault conference that's coming up. We do this once a year. This year, we're expecting 12,000 people there. Last year, we had 1,500 husbands and wives that were there. And one of the things the guys, the David consultant, they say a lot of people ask about, you know, how to balance this with family and the kids and all this other stuff. How do you do this? I said, listen, why don't we just do this? Why don't we just do a free webinar on family, how to be a killer in business without killing your marriage. And I said, I'm going to talk about all the mistakes I've made, okay? And we're going to talk about how we balance all this stuff together. So that picture they put together, for some of you guys that think that's really me with all those hands, it's not. Like it's just a great job. Shout out to our guys at Graphic Design. Rob, if you want to play the clip, go ahead and play the clip. You know what's scary for some people is they want to be a killer in business. They want to do a great job as an executive, as a CEO, entrepreneur, business owner, but they don't want to kill their marriage. So how do you balance that out? You want to go make all the money, travel, win for your family, but you want to stay married. You want to have a good relation with your kids. You want your kids to still want to see. How do you do this? There's 4 things, by the way. You ready? Write these down. Number 1, you're allowing your family and friends make you feel guilty for your vision, which is going to create resentment towards them. You don't want that. Number 2 is you lack clarity around the vision. You don't really know what you're doing it for. So work-life balance is a question that comes up for people that are not clear of what they want to do. They haven't had the conversation with their family. Number 3 is the concept of being intentional with the time you're spending with your family. And number 4 is maybe you're just looking for an excuse to not work that hard because your family's not bothering you. You're just looking for it. This concept of work-life balance comes up every single day with people who ask me this question. On June 11th, I'm hosting a free webinar for 1 hour to talk about work-life balance with the people that don't have the answer to the questions there, just like I didn't have it at that time. I'm married now with 4 kids, running all these businesses. Some days you feel like you don't know what the hell you're doing. All I'm gonna do is share with you mistakes I've made and things that are working for me. So if it's important to you, get registered, tell your wife, your husband, get everybody on together to listen up. We're gonna go through it for 1 hour again on June 11th. Register because it's limited seating on this webinar. I'll see you there. Come join us, guys. June 11th, 12:30. Put it in your calendar. By the way, I may have my wife and one of my kids maybe join me as well. Rob, what is the website for them to go register for this free webinar?
VTwebinar.com.
VTwebinar.com. We have limited to 3,000 seats, so just make sure you go get registered. Again, VTwebinar.com.
Can I say one thing about this?
Of course.
Because you've done how many webinars? I mean, the last.
I've done a lot of webinars, but we've never done a webinar on this. This has been coming up a lot the last 6 to 12 months.
In my opinion, based on the conversations I have with everyone out there, this actually might be the most important webinar you've ever done.
I'm in the process of figuring it out. I'm in the process of learning this stuff, but I can't wait to have this one with you guys.
Well, you know the secret.
We're going to have a lot of fun with this. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.